August 16th, 1977. Outside Graceland's gates, 80,000 fans mourned Elvis Presley's death. Headlines screamed, "The King is dead at 42." Inside a Memphis garage, Charlie Hodge pulled back a tarp, and his world stopped. A pink 1973 Cadillac Eldorado sat gleaming under fluorescent lights. 3 days earlier, at 4 a.m., Elvis had stumbled in wearing that white jumpsuit, paranoid, sweating, dying. He'd pressed car keys with a Cadillac emblem into Charlie's palm, $47,000 in cash, and a sealed letter. "If I die this week, the car is yours. The rest is for the world." Now Charlie stared at the Cadillac, his hands shaking. What was the rest? The keys felt like they weighed 1,000 pounds. Elvis's real final will sat locked in that trunk, and it would change everything Charlie thought he knew about the King. Charlie Hodge was 52 years old in the summer of 1977. He'd fixed cars at Graceland since 1962, 15 years of oil changes, brake jobs, and keeping his mouth shut. He never asked Elvis for autographs, never asked for loans, never sold stories to the tabloids when money got tight. That's why, at 4 in the morning on August 13th, Elvis chose him. The pink 1973 Cadillac Eldorado rolled into Charlie's garage with its headlights off. Elvis climbed out alone, no bodyguards, no entourage. He looked sick. His face was puffy, his jumpsuit strained at the seams. He handed Charlie an envelope thick with hundreds, $47,000 in cash, and a set of keys. "Keep it locked," Elvis said. His voice was hoarse, barely a whisper. "Don't tell anyone, even Priscilla." Charlie noticed Elvis wasn't asking. He was saying goodbye. 3 days later, Elvis Presley was dead, and Charlie was holding the only keys to a secret nobody else would ever find. Elvis Presley's public image in 1977 was pure American royalty. Graceland Mansion, private jets, white jumpsuits encrusted with gold, sold-out Vegas residencies. The world saw wealth, fame, and legend. What they didn't see? Elvis was $5 million in debt. The IRS was circling. His manager, Colonel Tom Parker, controlled 50% of everything Elvis earned and wanted more. Charlie knew things most people didn't. Elvis fixed his own cars sometimes, not because he enjoyed it, but because it kept him off the radar. He trusted Charlie because Charlie never talked. The pink Cadillac wasn't just another car. Elvis had custom ordered it in 1973 for $25,000, drove it once, then hid it in Charlie's garage. The trunk had been modified with an industrial lock. No dealership key would open it, only the keys Elvis carried. For months, Elvis had been planning something, and whatever it was, he'd decided Charlie was the only person who'd protect it. Orchestrated narrative continuation aligned with established framework. Let me continue with Chapter 3. Maintaining the rhythm and hitting the key beats from the blueprint. On August 15th, 2 days after Elvis dropped off the car, Charlie called about a strange engine noise. Elvis's response was immediate. "Don't fix it. Leave it exactly as is." Charlie asked what he'd been afraid to ask since that 4 a.m. visit. "What's really in there, Elvis?" Silence stretched across the phone line. Then Elvis said something Charlie would never forget. "The only thing I own that's actually mine." The next afternoon, August 16th, 1977, at 2:30 p.m., Elvis Presley died in his bathroom at Graceland. Heart failure, the doctors said. Prescription drug abuse. Charlie stood in his garage, staring at the pink Cadillac, and understood. Elvis had known it was coming. That 4 a.m. visit wasn't panic, it was preparation. 3 days before his death, Elvis had hidden something so valuable, so dangerous, that he couldn't let it fall into the wrong hands. And now the FBI was at Charlie's door, asking questions. 2 days after Elvis's death, an FBI agent walked into Charlie's garage. His badge said Financial Crimes Division. "We're investigating financial transfers Elvis Presley made in his final week," the agent said. "Bank records show a $47,000 withdrawal. We traced it here." Charlie showed him 3 empty bays, oil stains on concrete, tool racks, nothing unusual. The pink Cadillac sat under a tarp in Bay 3, labeled Customer, Johnson. The agent didn't look twice. But as he left, he mentioned something that made Charlie's blood freeze. Colonel Parker is also looking for undocumented assets. If you're hiding something, you should know he's not bound by the same rules we are. Charlie waited until the agent's car disappeared. Then he pulled the tarp off the Cadillac. The keys felt like lead in his pocket. Elvis hadn't just been hiding from the government, he'd been hiding from his own manager. Colonel Tom Parker, Elvis's manager for over 2 decades, controlled 50% of everything Elvis earned. It was the most infamous contract in entertainment history. By the time Elvis died, he owed Parker $7 million. Parker wasn't mourning, he was hunting. He sent associates to every garage, storage facility, and safe deposit box in Memphis. They were looking for undocumented assets, anything Elvis might have hidden before his death. Charlie remembered something Elvis had said years ago, half drunk after a Vegas show. "Tom owns me, but not everything." At the time, Charlie thought it was just whiskey talk. Now he understood. The pink Cadillac was Elvis's escape hatch. Whatever was in that trunk was the one thing Colonel Parker couldn't claim. Charlie watched from his garage window as a black sedan circled the block twice. Parker's men. They were getting closer. The keys stayed hidden in the bottom of Charlie's toolbox, wrapped in an oil-stained rag. Late August, a month after Elvis's death, Charlie finally opened the trunk. His hands shook as he turned the key. The custom lock clicked. Inside, 43 unreleased master tapes, stacked in professional archival boxes. Each box was labeled in Elvis's handwriting. Songs he'd recorded alone, late at night, with no producers present. Personal recordings. Lyrics scribbled on hotel stationery. This was Elvis's real voice, the one that never made it to radio. Charlie knew immediately what he was looking at. Millions of dollars in potential releases. But Elvis had hidden them. He'd wanted them private. As Charlie lifted the top box, he felt something underneath. The trunk had a false bottom. You wouldn't notice unless you were looking for it. A seam ran along the edge, barely visible. Charlie's throat tightened. This wasn't just about unreleased music. There was something else. Something Elvis had buried even deeper. Under the tapes, wrapped in a plastic sleeve, a sealed letter. The envelope read, "To whoever's listening." Charlie's hands trembled as he opened it. Elvis's handwriting filled 3 pages. The letter explained everything. These tapes were for his daughter, Lisa Marie. She was 9 years old when Elvis died. "Everything else goes to vultures," Elvis had written. "Parker gets 50%. The IRS takes 70. This is hers. The only thing I can give her that's actually mine." The legal will made no mention of the tapes. If the estate discovered them, Parker would claim half. The IRS would seize most of what remained. If Charlie hid them until Lisa Marie turned 18, she'd get nothing, but she'd also avoid the feeding frenzy. Charlie had 30 days before the estate inventory closed. After that, any discovered assets would trigger investigations, lawsuits, and criminal charges. The letter ended with a single line. "Trust your gut, Charlie." Charlie faced 3 choices, none of them clean. Option 1, turn over the tapes. Let the lawyers fight over them. Parker gets his cut. The IRS takes the rest. Lisa Marie gets whatever crumbs survive. Option 2, hide the tapes. Risk federal prison for obstruction. Protect Lisa Marie, but maybe for nothing if the feds catch on. Option 3, destroy them. Honor Elvis's privacy completely. Erase his final wish. Charlie sat in his garage, holding a single tape up to the fluorescent light. He thought about 1968, when his own car broke down and he couldn't afford repairs. Elvis had fixed it for free, never mentioned it again. That's who Elvis was when cameras weren't watching. Not a king, just a man who remembered loyalty. Charlie made his decision. The tapes would stay hidden. Lisa Marie would get them when she turned 18. Whatever happened to Charlie in the meantime, prison, fines, disgrace, didn't matter. He owed Elvis that much. September 1977. The estate lawyers started inventorying everything Elvis owned. They found Charlie's garage records. Pink Cadillac Eldorado, 1973, registered to Elvis Presley, stored at Hodge Auto Repair. Charlie received a summons. Bring the vehicle for appraisal within 48 hours. He had 2 days. That night, Charlie pulled every tape out of the trunk. He wrapped them in plastic and hid them in his home basement, behind the water heater where nobody would look. Then he filled the trunk with car parts, alternators, spark plugs, fan belts, making it look like he'd been using the Cadillac for storage. He resealed the false bottom. You couldn't tell it had ever been opened. On the third day, Charlie drove the pink Cadillac to the estate office. 2 lawyers circled it like vultures. They popped the trunk, saw the parts, ran their hands along the interior, found nothing unusual. Charlie's heart pounded. Then they told him the car would be impounded anyway. Estate auction, scheduled for October. Before surrendering the car, Charlie checked the false bottom one last time. He wanted to make sure he hadn't missed anything. His fingers found the edge seam, pulled it open. Inside, a single photograph. Elvis at age 8, standing beside his mother, Gladys Presley. She died in 1958, 19 years before Elvis followed her. Next to the photo, Gladys's wedding ring. Simple gold band, worn smooth. And underneath both, a handwritten note in Elvis's scrawl. Mama, I'm coming home. Charlie stared at the note for a long time. The car wasn't about money. It never had been. It was about memory. Elvis had filled the trunk with his mother's ghost, his daughter's future, and the only recordings that belonged to him alone. He'd driven to Charlie's garage at 4 a.m. not to hide assets, but to preserve the 2 things money couldn't corrupt: love and privacy. Charlie carefully placed the photo, ring, and note in his pocket. They'd go to Lisa Marie with the tapes. October 1977. The FBI closed its financial investigation into Elvis's estate. The agent came back to Charlie's garage one last time. We know Elvis moved assets before he died, the agent said. Bank records don't lie. If you're hiding something, you're protecting the wrong people. Parker's circling. The IRS is watching. Whatever Elvis gave you, it's not worth your freedom. Charlie sat silent through the entire conversation. The agent left a business card on the workbench. When you're ready to tell the truth, he said, call me. After the agent left, Charlie walked to the trash barrel outside his garage. He held the card over the flame. The edges curled, blackened, turned to ash. He thought about Lisa Marie, 9 years old, losing her father, surrounded by lawyers who saw her as a revenue stream. Her 18th birthday was 11 years away. Charlie could keep a secret for 11 years. He'd kept Elvis's secrets for 15 already. What was 11 more? Charlie kept those tapes hidden for 11 years. He never told his wife, never told his kids, never breathed a word to anyone who knew Elvis. In 1988, Lisa Marie Presley turned 18. Charlie contacted her through a private lawyer he trusted. No phone calls, no paper trail, just a quiet message. I have something your father wanted you to have. They met in a hotel conference room in Memphis. Charlie brought the tapes, the letter, the photograph, and Gladys's ring. Lisa Marie read her father's letter and cried. She held the master tapes like they were made of glass. Did anyone else know? She asked. Charlie shook his head. Just you and me. Lisa Marie never released those tapes. She kept them private, exactly as Elvis wanted. She never spoke publicly about the pink Cadillac or what her father had hidden inside it. Charlie never told anyone either, not even after she inherited the estate at 25. Some secrets are more valuable than money. In 2024, long after Charlie Hodge died at age 94 in 2019, his son found a set of keys in a shoebox. Cadillac emblem, worn smooth from decades of Charlie's thumb rubbing the metal. The Sun researched. Pink Cadillac Eldorado, 1973, sold at Elvis Presley estate auction in 1978 for $12,000. Current owner had no idea what the car once held. The keys were worth nothing financially. You couldn't even start the Cadillac with them anymore. The car had been restored, locks replaced. But they'd held Elvis's real final will. They'd protected a daughter's inheritance from vultures. They'd kept a promise that cost nothing and meant everything. Today, those keys sit in a display case at a small Memphis museum. Black velvet background, brass plaque. The label reads, "Keys Elvis trusted to the man who never asked for anything." The lesson carved below, sometimes the most valuable inheritance is being chosen to keep a secret.